Welcome back, everybody. You're tuning in to howtoplaystock.com. My name's Casey. Today is June 29th, 2017. It's Thursday. And today's video, just wanted to give you a market update real quick. So, as of right now, the Dow Jones is at 21,253 points. The S&P 500 is at 2,414 points. The NASDAQ is at 6,106 points. And overall, the Dow Jones has taken a drop of roughly about 200 points at the current moment. Now, part of this is partially due to the fact that the tech sector is down a negative 2.21%, and telecommunications is down a negative 1.43%. Now, just keep this in mind if you're investing in stocks right now, or if you're day trading or whatever. The tech industry, you've got companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Apple, and these companies, all right, they're tech giants. They make up a good portion of the earnings for the overall indexes, all right. So whenever you see tech and telecommunications like AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, whenever you see these sectors here take hits like that, expect the markets to go down overall by a significant amount. Now, I'm not telling you that I have a crystal ball and I know that's exactly what's going to happen, because the markets are being manipulated right now by the Federal Reserve, and you got a lot of funny money being pumped into the markets, so everything's upside down. But overall, if you're day trading or investing in stocks, these are things that you want to look at, because normally when these go down like that by 2-3%, expect the markets to come down, because they hold so much of the earnings and the earnings potential of the overall indexes. Okay, that's the stock markets right now. It's not. I mean, Dow Jones is down 200 points. It's not really a big deal. Nothing to really raise an eyebrow to. It's just something to pay attention to, especially if you're day trading or you're playing options or something like that. But that's not really what I wanted to talk about today. Today's video, I wanted to talk about other opportunities, okay? Because I'm not vested in stocks right now, and I'm not telling you this is what you have to do. This channel is merely about finding opportunities in general. Most of them being stocks, but if there's no opportunities in stocks, I talk about other things. So some of the opportunities right now that are presenting themselves are in different markets. One would be the ICOs, or the initial coin offerings in cryptocurrencies. And today I wanted to cover that in this video. So there's a lot of people, new blood, new money, that's coming into the cryptocurrency market, and they're jumping into these initial coin offerings. Okay, now what is an initial coin offering? It's basically a company that patents a technology or an idea, and they want to raise money. Okay, so it's essentially kind of the same thing as an IPO, or an initial stock offering. And so what they're doing is they're trying to raise money. Okay, and how they do this is they come up with a token. That's what their coins, their digital currency. So in order to raise money, though, they're basically making it mandatory that you have to buy Ethereum, which is a cryptocurrency right underneath Bitcoin. So I'm not going to cover the ins and outs of the technical aspects of Ethereum right now. I'll save that for later videos at a later date, because there's a lot to it. But just know that Ethereum is a digital currency in itself, and it deals with smart contracts. It's gaining popularity, and it's basically the #2 cryptocurrency right now under Bitcoin. So these ICOs, these companies, are making it mandatory that people have to buy Ethereum and then convert their Ethereum into the token that they're presenting to the public that you can buy in order to raise money for their projects, so that they can implement new technology and build infrastructure for these digital currency payment systems and stuff like that. So that's what the ICOs are. That's how they operate. and that's how they're being presented to the public. What this reminds me though, what this reminds me of though, is the .com tech bubble that we had. If you recall, back in the late '90s, everybody, that had a company with the .com behind it was getting massive funding from Wall Street and millions of dollars just being pumped into them, and they didn't, people weren't looking at the actual operations of the business. They weren't looking at any of the books, the cash flow that might be there. So you were getting a lot of, hundreds of millions of dollars pumped into these companies in the .com bubble, and a majority of them just fell flat on their face and went bankrupt. Okay? So that's kind of what these ICOs remind me of, because there's so much hype behind them right now. You got all this new blood coming into the markets. They saw Bitcoin and Ethereum rise in price overnight, shoot to the moon, and people get excited. So they're like, ooh, I can just throw my money in there and go to sleep at night and make, 500, 1,000% gains, and I'm going to be okay. Well, that's not really how it works. That's not the reality of cryptocurrencies, okay, and day trading. People doing that who have no idea how to read technical analysis, don't know what they're doing when it comes to day trading, just think they're going to put their money in there and then pull it out, 3 days later with 1,000% profits. I'm sorry to say, but they're dreaming. They're California dreaming, okay? That's really what it is. So those people that are making massive gains doing that, I mean, you can get lucky and make those kind of profits, but those people are very few, okay? So let's get back to reality though of things with ICOs. The reason why you're seeing the cryptocurrency market, and this is just my opinion based on the research that I've done, it's just my opinion, so I could be completely wrong, but from what I'm seeing right now with the cryptocurrency market is that you're getting these, parabolic moves upwards, okay, and then drastic moves downwards. And the overall trend, I think, for certain currencies, like Ethereum, for example, and Bitcoin, I think the overall long-term trend for those is going to be upwards over the next 5 to 10 years, okay? And I'm just doing math, probabilities, statistics, looking at the numbers, and there's some huge potential there. I think the odds are in the favor of the investor who's looking at those cryptocurrencies, specifically Bitcoin and Ethereum. Outside of that, though, right now you've got about 752 cryptocurrencies that are on the market, okay? You've got all these other ICOs coming out every week, every 3 weeks, and it's starting to speed up and gain momentum. That's good for innovation. But what you have to keep in mind is, I'm going back to the .com tech bubble. Most of those fell flat on their face, and just my gut tells me, from what I'm hearing from other experts in the cryptocurrency markets, is that most of these ICOs aren't going to survive, okay? I'd say probably 90% of them are going to fall off the face of the earth. I don't know when. Could be, within a year, a couple months, whatever. But I think that they're not going to be around for the long term. Now, there are going to be those few, kind of like what you saw with .com bubble, like Apple, Google, the tech giants that'll stay around and survive. Amazon. So you're going to get this something similar in the cryptocurrency market with some of these tokens and these ICOs. There's significant risk, though, in putting your money into these ICOs not knowing where they're going to go. So if you're going to play ICOs, I would highly suggest only playing with money that you can afford to lose, okay? Outside of that, I would just, and I'm not telling you what you have to do, I'm telling you kind of what I'm doing and making suggestions based off of what I'm doing. So you can do whatever you want, but what I'm doing is I'm playing Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. I might get in on an ICO sometime here in the near future. And if I get lucky, I might be able to get in on one. But I don't know enough about, transferring currencies from one wallet to the next, and then converting the the Ethereum into the token, and then cashing it back out. It just seems like an awful lot of work. And you're hearing stories of some of these exchanges just crashing on the market. Like the internet, the exchange is actually going down because of extreme overloads of traffic coming to these exchanges. So they're going down and shutting down. You're not able to make any transactions. There's delays in the blockchain. So it just seems like there's a lot of issues right now that are occurring within the cryptocurrency market. And granted, I think they're going to work those issues out, okay? And you're going to see this system with the cryptocurrencies and the exchanges and the programming behind it and the technology itself. I think you're going to start seeing it mainstream and becoming a smoother operation here in the future. But right now they're working out some of those glitches and trying to get the programming under control here, and some of the issues and problems that the exchanges are facing. They're trying to get that stuff under control. So that's one of the reasons why I'm really hesitant to play the ICO game right now. If you want to go ahead and try to get in on some of these ICOs, you can most certainly do that, but make sure you're doing your research, okay? Join some of the chat forums out there in the community. Listen to what others are talking about when it comes to these ICOs. One of the big things that I'm hearing from people is that with ICOs, to kind of try to gauge if it's going to be good or a bad ICO, or a good token or a bad token, if you got a strong community behind it and a lot of people talking about it, debating over it, arguing over it, there's a belief system there in it for a specific use case. Those are the ones that you kind of want to pay attention to, all right? Because there's not a community behind it, and you don't have people arguing and debating over it, and there's no belief system in it. Chances are it's probably just a pump and dump, and you got people raising money. Who knows where it'll go, and it just kind of, it spells disaster for me. Okay, so look at the community, look at the what people are talking about, when it comes to the chat forums and stuff like that on some of these ICOs, and it'll help educate you along the way, and then you can kind of get a better idea of like what you're actually investing in, okay? Because ultimately, if you're in this long term and you want to make some money at it, you're gonna have to know, like, you have to understand what you're investing in. And that's one thing I tell people all the time who are getting into stocks in the stock market, who've never done it before. I'm like, dude, you need to do your research, know what you're getting into, know the game of money before you ever put a dime on the table, okay? Because that's going to help you, so much in the long term. Not to mention, there's technical analysis, fundamentals, all that stuff. And I think a lot of that still applies to the ICOs and the cryptocurrencies. So just because I'm not talking about stocks right now, don't think that the stuff that I'm teaching you in this channel doesn't apply to the cryptocurrency market as well, because it does. Outside of that, though, with the stock market, I told you I'm not really paying attention to the stock market too much. One thing you want to pay attention to if you're doing any type of day trading or just investing, period, in the stock market is look at that 10-year bond yield curve as well, because that yield curve on the 10-year Treasury note is going to tell you a lot about the economy and its strength, if it's going, if we're going into a recession or if the economy's picking up. So pay attention to that too. I've shot a previous video on that, so if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so. You can go back and watch that. I also have playlists in my YouTube channel that cover the technical analysis. So if you're somebody who's looking to get into like the cryptocurrency market and you want to make a few trades here and there on cryptocurrencies, I would highly recommend doing some research on the technical analysis side of things. You can go to my playlist. I've got videos on technical analysis that cover like the MACD and show you how to predict uptrends in the Forex market. So go back and watch those, because once you get some of that knowledge under your belt, your chances and your odds of winning, coming out with profitable trades are going to be that much greater, okay? But that's the initial coin offering. that's what I want to cover for today. One other thing I want to cover real quick, and I know this video is going a little long, so I'm going to start wrapping it up. One other thing I want to cover, though, is if you're getting in on these cryptocurrencies, and I'll give you a good example. I bought in on Ethereum when it was $192, okay? It went up to like $282 within like a day. So I took profits off the table. I went back in and bought up more. It kept going up, so I took some more profits. And then I jumped in at the right around the very high, which is about $388. Ethereum went up to about $420, and then it just fell off a cliff. And I did not sell. So I was stuck at $388. If I would have sold, I would have lost money. So here's what I'm getting at. If you're gonna day trade any type of stock or currency, I would highly recommend doing the research on whatever it is you're investing in first. Because what I like to do is invest in stuff that I believe in and that I know long terms, in long term, the odds are in my favor of making profits, okay, versus, losing money. So I like the odds in my favor for making money. And I don't invest in anything that I don't see, long term having a upward trend. So with Ethereum, I'm in at $388 right now. The price has rebounded a little bit, but it dropped all the way down to like 200 at one point, 207 or something like that, just in the last couple days. And it's rebounded back up to about $310, $319, so it's recovering, but I didn't sell. And what you're seeing in the cryptocurrency market as a whole is you're getting these weak hands, people coming in, don't have any experience. They buy in like that, thinking the price is going to continue going up, and they buy in high, and the price drops on them, and they panic, and then they start selling. Now, you might be asking, why is the price dropping in the first place so dramatically, when it's going parabolic like that? With these ICOs that I was talking about, I was saying they have to raise Ethereum, okay, to convert into the token for this initial coin offering. So what it's doing is it's forcing buyers for Ethereum into the market, which is causing the price to go up, and these buyers are doing nothing more than just buying Ethereum so they can convert it into the token that they want to get in on. And then what the company does is they've raised all this Ethereum, right? Because they're getting all this Ethereum in exchange for their tokens. So they're taking the Ethereum and then they're liquidating it into US dollars so that they can fund the development projects, the operating expenses, pay their employees and the overhead. And, you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars being raised in Ethereum and then being liquidated into US dollars. So you're having massive sell-offs on top of, that's causing the price to drop. And then you have this new blood that I'm talking about, these new day traders coming in who don't know anything about, day trading cryptocurrencies or the stock market. They see the price drop like that and they think they're going to lose all their money. So they're selling on top of a major sell-off. So you're getting the price just going parabolic up and then parabolic down. But long term, if you're looking at long-term charts on some of these, you're going to see like Ethereum and Bitcoin, they might do that, but the trend long term is going up. Okay, so it's going up to a higher high, and then down to a higher low, and so on. So that's something to pay attention to. If you're going to be doing any day trading, on the stocks, currencies, whatever, make sure it's something that you believe in long term. That way, if you do get in on a high of that stock or currency and it goes against you, you start losing money, it allows you to have stronger hands so you're not willing to sell just, based off of pure panic and emotions. You can stay in longer because you believe in it, you know where the trend's going long term, and then when it bounces back and it goes to its new higher highs, then you can get out, sell, and then wait for it to come back down. That's all I have for today, though. One thing I want to start doing on some of my videos is I'm going to just kind of an experiment. I'm going to try a quote of the day. So comment on this if you want. Let me know if this is a good idea or not. I just want to try it because it kind of adds some flavor to the videos. But I'm going to start doing a quote of the day. The one I have for today kind of revolves around this video. I found it interesting because it deals with a lot of the timing of the markets that I'm talking about here. So here it is. Success is simple. Do what's right, the right way, at the right time. And that's Arnold H. Glassboro. So it kind of goes with what I'm talking about here. You want to invest and get in on stuff at the right time, and so if you don't get in at the right time, have a backup plan, or know and believe in what you're investing in, because when you do that, you can have stronger hands when the price drops, and then when it recovers, you're not at a loss. Okay, so those are today's investors investing tips. You're tuning in to howtoplaystock.com. My name's Casey. Go ahead and like and share the video if you found this information beneficial. Subscribe to the channel as well. And remember, guys, income is the outcome, all right? I'll talk to you later.